Hey friends, do you find yourself struggling to keep up with this toxic hustle culture we got going on today with these efficiency and productivity cults that have somehow become the norm? Well, today I want to share some ideas with you in hopes to give you permission to unsubscribe from some of these things and to learn how to ebb and flow with your energy and your life in a way that feels more balanced and harmonious. And it's going to be based upon you tuning into your body and into nature, because whether we realize it or not, there are these cycles and these seasons that exist both inside of us and all around us that affect the ways in which we think, we act, and we can perform in real life. And I'm really passionate about getting back in tune with some of these things, learning to honor yourself instead of forcing yourself to keep up with unrealistic external expectations. So, whether we realize it or not, humans are still a part of nature. And I know that we've gotten very disconnected from that. Um, our society tends to treat us like robots. And I think that we can start to give ourselves permission to tune back into some of these things so that we can balance our lives and we can live in a way that actually feels good to us, regardless of our roles and responsibilities that we have to maintain. So, this was all inspired by yesterday was spring equinox, and spring is springing, and I am here for it. Like, I could not wait for her to come around this year. And there's this energy of like aliveness again. There's this like rebirth, renewal, just like coming in strong. And here, so I live in the Northern Hemisphere, I live in New York. So we're coming out of winter, heading into spring. And I just like couldn't stop thinking about the contrast in energy between spring and also January, because I kept thinking about January 1st, right? New Year's Day. Technically, that's when everyone sets their New Year's resolutions and gets ready to, fix themselves for the year or whatever. And here in New York, January is the dead of winter. It is cold. It is generally snowy. We are not like out and about. We are hibernating, much like nature all around us. The animals are hibernating. We are going within. It's time for like an inward journey, for resting, for wintering. Um, and so the energy, both within us and all around us, does not support setting all these grand new intentions and making like big changes in our lives. Like they don't align, the energy and the intentions. So it's no wonder why so many of us feel like failures when we have all these grand ideas, but we're unable to like bring them through. We're unable to actually follow through and bring them to life. Compared to yesterday, right now, I think that it's no coincidence that the astrological new year also falls right on the spring equinox, and how vastly different the energy is for setting seeds of intentions and bringing those to life. Like January to now, so different. And I think if we start tuning into some of these things and honoring these things, as hippy dippy as they might sound to some of you, that very much used to be me. I really, since I started doing this 2 years ago, my life is changing drastically. To give myself permission to unsubscribe from things that don't serve me, that don't feel good to me. And it's really allowing it's allowing me to live my life in so much more peace and harmony and like this like flow state of ebbing and flowing with my energy, and to give myself grace and to not hold myself to this unrealistic expectations that I'm supposed to be performing at 100% every single day across the board. That is not how we're designed. We're not made for that. It's really only in the last, I don't know, few hundred years that our lives have changed so much, from going from like hunting and gathering, right? Living with the seasons, to this industrialized, technological shit show we've got going on these days. I'll just leave it at that. But just think about how different it is. And yet our bodies were designed for the hunting and gathering. Our nervous systems, our brains, they weren't designed to live in today's world. And while there are certain things you can do to work with your nervous system and retrain your brain and things like that, maybe we're not meant to abandon ourselves completely. Maybe it's time to start bringing in some of those old ideas and learning to support ourselves in better ways, right? I think that it's worth a shot, and I think that we can find a happy medium place if you give yourself permission to start exploring what this might look like for you, taking some of your power back, what this might feel like to you, embracing the cycles. I mean, speaking of cycles, think about like women in particular, right? We're on a 28, 30-day cycle, a monthly cycle. Our energy fluctuates throughout the month, compared to a guy's cycle is a 24-hour cycle. And you can also learn to start tuning into that. Check out cycle syncing if this interests you. And it's a way in which you can start learning more about your menstrual cycle and how your energy and your hormones and all of these things fluctuate throughout the month, and how you can make some small changes in your habits throughout the month to support this, to support your fluctuations. And actually, if you really look into it, check out how the 4 different phases of your cycles actually line up with the 4 seasons. There's your winter, there's the autumn, winter, spring, summer seasons actually line up with the 4 phases of the menstrual cycle. I think that it's really cool. And again, it's just a reminder, we are nature. We are a part of nature. It's within us. It's all around us. We've just gotten disconnected from it. So I feel very passionately about getting more in tune with that and finding small ways to bring that back in so that we can support ourselves better, so that we can feel better. And actually, sometimes by taking a small step backwards and learning to prioritize rest when we need rest, and then work when it's time to work, that's actually so much more effective than pushing ourselves when we're not in that type of cycle or season. Because what that's doing is actually just burning us out. It's draining our life force energy. I just want people to live happier, healthier, more balanced lives. I want you to learn what that means for you, to give yourself permission to consider some of these things and just get curious. If this speaks to you at all, give yourself permission to check some things out, to learn more about energy and fluctuations, and how you can get back on track with living a life that feels good to you, that feels supportive to you in some of these ways. You know, we don't just have to like burn ourselves out anymore. And once you start to realize that, it becomes a choice, right? I think a lot of times some of these things have just become so normalized that we don't even think to question them. They don't feel like choices. So take your power back. Start considering how you can support yourself, whether it's more throughout a monthly cycle, a yearly cycle, with nature and her seasons, or even like different seasons of your life will call for different versions of you too. So really, overall, learning how to ebb and flow with some of these things, not hold yourself to unrealistic expectations that you should be at the same level of energy or that you should ever be the same throughout your entire life. I want you to make some of those decisions for yourself instead of just living on autopilot. So I hope this helped. I hope this piques some of your interest. And I will see you in the next one.